My place in Canadian history. My story starts in 1914 when my great-great-great-grandfather Gustave and Louise Marchand brought their family over to Canada from Héricourt, Haute-Saône, France, just before World War I. Their adventure started on April 18, 1914, when they got on a steamship called La Touraine. They spent about 8 days on ship and then docked in New York. From New York, they traveled by train to Winnipeg and arrived there on April 30th, 1914. After they spent the day in Winnipeg, they then took the train to Estevan and met the Bourquin family, who came from the same area in France a few years before them. Once Gustave and his family got settled in the Estevan area, they rented some land by Outram, with a couple of neighbors, one being the Dousts. Gustave's two sons, Gustave Jr. and Edmond, attended Soyam School to learn English. In France, Edmond had a grade 8, but in Canada, he had to go back to grade 1. Before school each morning, Edmond would go to other farms and help with chores and other tasks. This helped with finances for his family. On September 16, 1920, Gustave passed away in a tragic accident by the Outram elevators. At the age of 48, he was driving a wagon filled with grain. When going over the train tracks, he fell off the wagon, breaking his neck, dying almost instantly in Edmond's arms. In 1941, Edmond joined the army in Regina. He started off as a cook, then he was put in charge of the barber shop. After that, he was an escort and a guard for the AWOL prisoners. He was discharged from the army in 1944. November 29, 1922, Edmond Marchand and Loretta Grambois were married and had 6 children. Evelyn, Raymond, Lucien, Irma, Gabrielle, and Genevieve. They lived on the family farm until 1937, then sold the farm to Edmond's brother and moved to the town of Torquay. In Torquay, Edmond rented a pool room and a barber shop. My great-grandfather Raymond was born on April 19, 1927, in Outram, Saskatchewan. He met his wife Lenora in Torquay, and they got married on October 20th, 1947. They had 6 kids: Daryl, Randolph, Margot, Joyce and Jocelyn, and Michelle. My grandmother, Margot Marchand, was born on December 21st, 1953 in Estevan. She met her husband and my grandfather, Gary Hammett, in 1965. Gary was born on September 26, 1949 in Porcupine Plains. They got married on January 24, 1970. They had 4 children: Gary Jr., Rodney, Nicole, and Christopher. My mother, Nicole Hammett, was born February 19, 1975 in Calgary, Alberta. My father, Brad Friars, was born February 20th, 1974 in Sussex, New Brunswick. Up until graduation, my mom lived at home in Beanfate and moved to Calgary, Alberta in 1995. She met my dad in 1996 while she was bartending, and they got married on July 26, 1997. My brother Blake was born May 5th, 1998, and I was born October 29th, 1999. When my family first arrived in Canada, it was right before World War I, and the Prime Minister at the time was Robert Borden. My family never really had any struggles moving here, besides losing their daughter due to an illness. On my dad's side, my grandfather is from Scotland, and my grandmother is from Ireland. On my mom's side, my grandfather is from Germany and England. I currently live in Beanfate, Saskatchewan with my family, and I can't wait to see where my story goes next.